Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, you may or may not know that I recently came back from a trip to Paris, to France, and I did say that I would do a little vlog detailing how my trip went and letting you guys know all about it. I'm in no way, shape, or form a travel vlogger, which is something I learned very quickly whilst on that trip. But nonetheless, I had a great time, and I do want to share a little bit about what happened. So this is what this vlog is all about. So before I get started, a kind reminder and request not to forget to subscribe, to like, and to comment below on this video. But I'm gonna start with this. I think I learned so much about myself on this trip. I've never really done a solo trip where I've gone to a place where I don't really, like, I'm not meeting anyone, I don't really know anyone, and 99% of the time I'm spending the time alone. So this was a first for me at my very big age, and I'll be very honest with you, I don't know if solo trips are for me. Yes, I'm outspoken, yes, I love being around people, I'm a people person, but at heart I'm an introvert. So in the sense that I'm not just gonna walk up to strangers and trying to make friends with them. I am 4 years to 40. I really don't have any desire to do that, and it makes me just want to take an Allergex so I can calm down. So let's start with the flight, right? I took Air France. Obviously, I took whatever I took from here to Joburg, and I took Air France. I have a huge fear of flying. I've had it not for my whole life. I don't know at what stage of life it came to me, because I've been traveling literally since I think I was like 3 months years of age. Just 3 months years of age. Since I was 3 months old, but somewhere along the line, I developed this fear. I was super anxious about the 10+ hour flight. I think it was 10 hours. I wouldn't know because as soon as I got into the plane, I took Zopiclone, which is a fantastic sleeping pill. Apparently, you shouldn't be taking sleeping pills. I have a cousin who's a pilot who always tells me not to take them because if anything was to happen and people are trying to rush out, you would be the one person who's like, drooling on themselves, not able to be moved. So, economy is a whole nother life. The seating in Air France, your Emirates is even better in terms of economy. The leg room is non-existent. So for someone like me who has joint problems and this, that, and the next, that was not very comfortable. So it was really good for me to just have blacked out and woke up when we got to Paris. And then when we got to Paris, I knew it was going to be winter. Obviously, I checked all these things. I checked the temperatures, but I think I haven't been in a proper winter. But it was a nice chill. It was a crisp cold that reminded me so much of New York winters. So it had a little bit of nostalgia for me. So I minded it, but I didn't mind it that much. I minded it when I was on the bus tour because I was literally an icicle and I thought I was going to die from whatever that thing is, when frostbite. So I was really scared, and I was like, I can't die in France. Yes, so anyway, I digress. So upon arrival, just the drive to the hotel was so amazing. The sun hadn't still come out yet, so it was still dark, and the Eiffel Tower, which is one of my most favorite monuments, hands down, looked beautiful before the sunrise rose. And then obviously we drove down the tunnel where Princess Diana died, which was really heart-wrenching for me because Princess Diana was one of my most loved. Like, she is such an idol to me, such a phenomenal woman to me. So yeah, so that was also, gave me some chills. So getting around in Paris for me was very expensive. I'm not a walking type of person. I don't like walking around. One, because it was extremely cold. Two, because I didn't quite know where I was, and using Google Maps is fine if you have data. And I was roaming, so I didn't have data. I can only use that when I was in Wi-Fi. 3, because of the long haul flight, my legs were swollen, even though I was wearing compression socks. It was just a hard knock life for me to walk around. And 4, because I'm lazy. So I didn't walk around a lot. So I would Uber a lot. And my goodness, it was only because I know what the euro is to the pula. Like, I know, but like, I'm the type of person, even when it's in dollars, when I see 23, like, I still don't realize that that's 23 times 12. Do you know what I mean? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, maybe it's 100, you know what I mean? Like, it's $200 or it's $100 guarantee. So I really saw my backside after I would do my little recons every now and then. I was there for 6 days, right? So like the second day, their day, I would look at how much I've been spending, and I was spending so much on Ubers. But for me, that was the most convenient way to get around. Favorite part about Paris, definitely, even though I was a solo traveler and I said I probably wouldn't solo travel again, was doing day stuff alone. So I really enjoyed going to cafes and working from a cafe. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed just, sightseeing, because it's such a beautiful place. You see, wherever you turn, you can see an angle of the Eiffel Tower. Like, it was beautiful in that way. I enjoyed the wine. I am a wine lover. So it was amazing being in a place where wine is part of lunch and nobody's judging you. You know what I mean? Unlike here, where sometimes we drink our wine out of a coffee takeaway at Daily Grind during lunch. It was so great to be able to go to a place and see everybody having lunch and having their glass of wine, and I love how much importance they put on food and going out for lunch. Everyone goes out for lunch. Which also means they must get paid really well, because food is not cheap there. Food is absolutely not cheap. And I don't know if it just was where I was, but food really wasn't cheap. And I love food, but I'm not a foodie. So I'm not the type of person who would go somewhere and want to try foie gras or whatever that thing is called, the goose liver. Like, that's not really my thing. I'm the type of person, and I have no shame in my game. I will order a cheeseburger and fries. I will order chicken strips. That's what I like. I like what I like. I've come too long in life to try and impress other people and to impress Instagram followers by taking pictures of fancy food that I know I'm not going to eat. So the food was really great. And it was just so nice to go to a French restaurant and wear a beret and eat by myself. It was really great. That was really great. The thing that I did not like was going out alone at night. No, not for me. Probably not ever gonna do it. And I realized something, guys, and I want to apologize to all of my friends or any of my friends who've gone to the States or gone anywhere that I've gone to, and I've aggressively suggested places for them to go. Because I realized something while I was there. My friends who had been to Paris before, or who knew people in Paris, would be like, oh my God, I know so-and-so, here's her number, you can call her, she'll take you out. Or here's a list of 99 places you should probably go to. And although I thoroughly appreciate that, and people mean well when they do that, I think it's also important that you know yourself when you travel alone, because if you're not the type of person who's just gonna rock up to a club or a lounge or a bar or anywhere alone because it doesn't make you feel comfortable, you will end up really miserable. I went out, I think I tried to go out alone on 2 nights, if I'm not mistaken. One of the nights didn't really count because I just went to a restaurant. It was called Au Petit Africain. I Googled it. It was under, and I will get to this a little bit later in more detail, it was under the Instagram page for Little Africa Paris. So I went to it because I heard they serve really great Senegalese food. I don't think I've ever eaten Senegalese food, at least not as an adult. I heard it had a great vibe, and that's where a lot of French-speaking Africans would go, which is definitely what I wanted to experience as well. I went there alone. First of all, I thought I was gonna find a whole lot of Francophone attractive people. And no disrespect, but I was the only person of color in that place. And the French really speak French. So you'll get to the places, you'll get into Ubers where the driver doesn't speak English, like any English, and which is not necessarily a bad thing. Look, at the end of the day, it is their country. They must speak their national language. Those of us who are coming in must learn it. But it does make it a little difficult when you go to touristy places and you can't communicate at all. So I went to this petite African place, and I thought there would be like a vibe, and eventually I would be dancing, with people from the DRC. That didn't quite happen, and it was super far. And so that was a no, but it was fine. I ate, so it was okay. I had my own champagne, and I went home and I slept. The second night, and mind you, it's very expensive to get into an Uber at night and go across town to a really great place. So I decided I'm gonna go to a place that's close by the hotel, because even if I have a terrible time, I wouldn't have wasted like 500 pula going back and forth. So I went to this little bar called the Gatsby or Le Gatsby. And it was really great. I got there at a good time, so it wasn't too full yet. I got a little seat, stool by the bar, and I ordered myself a little Aperol, however you pronounce it, spritz. The music was great. The bartender looked like, Michael B. Jordan if he was fired from his job and had to move back with his parents. There was a tinge of attractiveness there. It just wasn't quite curling over. The music was great, like I said, and so I was vibing. It was a great time, but then I was also just like, I look like a prostitute. I'm in full makeup. I have an intense curly wig, and I'm just sitting by myself, and I'm on my phone. And because I'm not, it's just not me. I'm not gonna talk to people that I don't know. Like, what am I gonna say? Hey guys. Like, it's not who I am as a person. And it was, in that moment, it was not who I was gonna become, right? Plus, I didn't really want to make friends. I just wanted to have a good time, and unfortunately, I was by myself. And then, I attracted the interest of some woman and her nephew, who was literally 2 years younger than her. So I'm really not sure if it was her nephew or they were literally a cohort or consortium of people who were like dangerous predators, because they kept stressing how beautiful I was, and then they were like, do you want to have a drink? Let's have a drink. Come on, let's do shots. And I was like, this is exactly how I die. So I sent my location to 2 or 3 people back at home as if they were just gonna come drive if I was in distress. But yeah, so when it was time to go to the bathroom, I was like, now in retrospect, I should have just taken my drink with me, but I didn't want my drink with me in the bathroom, as E. coli is flying all over the place. So, which was probably really dangerous, but I'm lucky that I serve a living God. I would have to give my drink to the bartender and have him watch it while I go to the bathroom. He could have easily spiked my drink, but thankfully Michael B. Jordan is a good man and he didn't do that. So it was just awkward for me. I danced a little bit with the lady and her nephew, but after a while I was like, I think I need to go, because I'm really not, like, one, I cannot get like overserved when I'm by myself, because this is not Gabs. I'm not going to be able to get home on my own if I'm like, So anyway, that was my one night out, and I was like, you know what? I'm actually okay with this. I don't need to go to all these places that people are suggesting. I'm going to actually, for the rest of the time I'm here, unless, I don't know, something happens, I'm actually okay with staying in my room and ordering food, because that's what brings me joy in life. And ordering food and staying in. And that's precisely what I did for the remainder of my time there. I would do all that I wanted to do during the day and have the most fantastic time taking pictures. And then I'd come home and I would get nice, warm and cozy and have some Chardonnay and have a really delicious hot dog from the equivalent of what was probably a Spur from the mall next door to my hotel. It brought me so much joy, let me just tell you. Another thing, so I clearly have a history of really weird Uber travels. I've mentioned this on my Instagram story, so I'm just gonna repeat it here for those who maybe haven't seen it. So when I went to Joburg to do my actual visa appointment, which was about a week before the trip, risky, I had an Uber driver, and this man starts to just drive very aggressively. And then I hear him mumbling, and he's like, I'm sorry guys, do you mind if I pull over? I'm experiencing some things. And I was like, I was thinking, okay, Shay, maybe his gas is low, maybe he has a tire puncture. Then he started literally driving like we were now being chased by rebels in Rwanda during Hotel Rwanda times. And he pulls into this filling station in what was probably, I don't know what, because I didn't know where we were. It did not look very safe. And Joburg is living on the edge at this moment in time. He pulls over and he gets out of the thing and he jets to the petrol station. And forgive me for laughing, God. Holding on to his backside, and it was obvious that something was coming out of him at high speeds. And as somebody who has experienced this before, I really shouldn't be laughing, but I'm only laughing because I can relate. So he's running like a wild animal, and he grabs, that the hard white paper that they use to see if you've got oil or not? Poor thing probably saw just Wangutwa, because he grabbed that paper and was begging for people to let him use their toilet, which they finally did. He came back some long minutes later, but the whole time I was like, this is probably how, again, I'm gonna die, because I don't know where I am. This is Joburg, the keys in the ignition. We're in the middle of a petrol station, which is a known target for hijackings. But luckily he finally came out, he apologized. He said he thought he thinks he has a stomach bug. And you know, all I could do was just say, sir, are you okay? Like, are you all right? And we finally got to the hotel. Then, now I'm in France, and one of the nights the night that I went to Petit Africain, I have another Uber. It's a nice one. I think it was a Mercedes or something. And, you know, this very nice, you know, he was an African descent. I think he was from Burkina Faso or Cote d'Ivoire. I can't remember. Beautiful accent. We're having a great conversation. We're driving, and we're now getting into an area where it's not very city-like. I see a lot of tall trees, and we are literally in the middle of the intersection. And he's like, I'm sorry, please excuse me, I need to go to the bathroom. I need to take care of something. He didn't say he needed to go to the bathroom. He said, please excuse me, I need to take care of something. So I'm like, oh my God, it's happening again. So he gets out and he takes a water bottle, which I found out later why. Somebody was nice enough to explain why he took the water bottle. But he took the water bottle out, and so I was very confused. So I was like, is he going to urinate into this water bottle or jump? Then I see him walking into this dark wooded forest, and so like I'm peering out of the back seat, you know, out of the right side of the back seat, because he's over there, and then he catches me looking, so I quickly turn around, and I felt so bad. And he was obviously relieving himself. He was obviously urinating, and he wasn't even that deep into the forest. And I was just kind of thinking, like, are these things allowed? I thought these things were only done in the dark continent. Like, are you allowed to just publicly urinate? I'm pretty sure it's not allowed in Paris. And I was just kind of like, oh, Bafwit, like, you know, these are things we do here, my brother. They're things we just don't take with us when we go to the first world. But nonetheless, poor guy came back with that very same water bottle, and I was so confused because it was empty. At first I was looking at it because I was like, he's not bringing a bottle of urine into this car. But it was actually empty. And then I realized, somebody mentioned to me that 99% he was probably Muslim. So he's probably using that to clean himself, as we know that's what is done in their religion, which is understandable. But yeah, wow to him being in the Paris forest. Nonetheless, that was my Uber experience, done with that. And that was my nightlife experience. Not my favorite thing. The shopping. So I decided not to do a lot of shopping for clothes because, one, I am morbidly obese. Two, it's very expensive. And so I just wasn't, I didn't want to buy clothes in size 90 when I am trying to lose weight. And I'm also not going to buy clothes that are a size smaller, because I have about 4 pairs of jeans that are staring at me every morning asking me when are we being worn. So I didn't buy clothes, but I bought a whole lot of makeup because I was in the land of Sephora. I had always wanted to go on a solo trip. Ever since I got divorced, I was like, I'm gonna, treat myself to a nice solo trip wherever it is, and then obviously I didn't for like a year. And then this came up and I was like, perfect, it's Paris. It's, you know what I mean? It's the land of love. It's the capital city of love in the world. I was looking forward to maybe meeting myself a little Jimon Hunsu, voulez-vous coucher avec moi? But that didn't happen. And in retrospect, I think it was all for the best that it didn't happen. I didn't meet anyone, and I think it also has a lot to do with the fact that I don't think I was in any places where the type of person I wanted to meet were located. Like I said, I wouldn't have minded meeting myself a little Jimon Hunsu, and that's why I decided to actually go to Little Africa in Paris. So before I went to Paris, I did a lot of research, and I know, which I personally find very strange, but different strokes for different folks. A lot of people will say, why do you want to go leave Africa to hang out with Africans? I actually kind of like, not to say that I want to go to a place and find every Mutswana possible and hang out with them, no, but I personally love Africans, especially Africans. Not that I don't love my own brothers and sisters from my country, but I love meeting people from other countries in Africa. This is why my top destinations are places like Nigeria, places like Cote d'Ivoire, places like Mali, because I don't know, I'm so obsessed with other cultures in Africa. So I researched, I wanted to find out if it was like a little Africa in Paris, like an area that was actually like, not curated, but where you can find restaurants, you can find, clubs, you can find bars that cater to that type of community. So I found this little tour company called Little Africa in Paris. And unfortunately, I think I was too late. I tried to book a tour and something happened, but nonetheless, I wasn't able to go on the tour. But I just looked at the location of where this woman who, started this tour company takes, the tourists that go on her tours. And I didn't find an actual establishment. I think the mistake I made was I just checked the area. So I got an Uber from my hotel to take me to the area, but I didn't have an actual establishment. So when we got to the area, he literally just threw me out of the Uber. It was like I was a woman that he had organized a one-night stand with, and then when we got home, I was like, jokes, I'm on my period, and he was fra. Like, he literally was like, it's here. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, where am I? And he's like, it's here, go, go. So I had to get out of the Uber. And I was in the middle of nowhere. And I suffer from serious anxiety. And it really peaks when I'm in places where I don't know where I am. And I kind of feel like if something happens to me, like, will my family know? Like, how will I be found? Will I ever be found? Or will somebody like drug me and then suddenly will think my name is like Michelle Dubois, and like I'll start a new life here and things just won't end up right for me. So I was very scared, and I was like, let me just find like a restaurant, a bar, something where I can at least get some Wi-Fi and figure out my surroundings and maybe see what's near here, and maybe I can go there and feel a little bit safer. I don't know if you've ever been to a place called 125th Street and Broadway in Harlem. My sisters and I used to go there all the time when we were living in New York, and we used to love it, but it's very overwhelming if you're not used to it. You come off of the Metro North, which is public transport, the train. And you have women who want to braid your hair, asking if they can braid your hair, whether you have hair or not, for them to attach. And people are trying to sell everything. There are men selling DVDs. Well, maybe not now, but back then they're selling DVDs. They're selling fake sunglasses. It's wild. So this was basically that, but on steroids, because they were speaking French and I didn't know what exactly they were selling. There was a man at one point who was holding just one pair of sunglasses, and I don't know if he was selling me the sunglasses or they were his sunglasses and he wanted me to just put them on and pose for him. It was just all very confusing. So I didn't enjoy it that much. I felt like I needed to be with somebody. I needed to be with people. I needed Wi-Fi. So I went to a little bar and I was like, okay, here's a bar. Surely they have Wi-Fi. They had no Wi-Fi, but what they did have was a little man that looked like Danny DeVito in a recession, and he just kept flicking his tongue at me and like mwah, and saying things in French, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna die. Yeah, so I asked for Wi-Fi. They shooed me out of there like a cockroach, saying they have no Wi-Fi. And then at some point I was now frantic. And you see, the bad thing about me is I panic instead of saying, okay, just walk up this road, perhaps you'll find something. Which if I had done that before I called the Uber, I would have found that there was so much calm just for one street up. But no, I decided to data roam at that so I can get an Uber. I think I spent like 600 pula just getting one Uber. I finally got the Uber and I was like, I want to go home. I want to get on my laptop and I want to eat McDonald's. I don't want to deal with this. So that was my little Africa experience. So there was no Jumon Hunsu. There was no any of that. I left there as single as I got there. But you know what? It was a fun trip. And I think the two takeaways I'll share with you. The one is that don't go on a trip with any expectations. Don't go on a trip thinking you're going to find love. Don't go on a trip thinking you're going to, I don't know, get a job or something. Like, just go with a completely open mind, which, I mean, that's common sense. And I did go in with an open mind, but, in the back of my head, I was thinking about Jumon Hunsu. Just go with an open mind. Go just expecting to experience whatever, I think it's important to plan, definitely, if you're that type of person. I'm a go with the flow type of person. But I do think it's important because I am someone who, I like going with the flow, but I also get frustrated if things don't work out or I feel like I didn't do what I wanted to do. So it's important to at least have an idea of the things that you want to see, a checklist of some sort, knowing that you can steer off course, but knowing that, okay, these are the things that I have to see and I have to do. Like for me, one of the things that I had to do was see the Eiffel Tower. One of the things I had to do was see the Arc de Triomphe, however you pronounce it. One of the things that I had to do was go on that bridge where Usher, in the video for Nice and Slow, Usher was on that bridge. And so I did all of those things, which for me, I ticked all those boxes and I was very happy that I did. Everything else was just really a bonus for me and was a really great experience. The second takeaway that I think was the most valuable for me, especially because I'm in a place in my life where I'm actually, it's like I've just kind of been reborn now. You have to know yourself when you go on a solo trip. You really have to know yourself because we live in an age now where we're exposed to so much on social media. That you tend to want to do a lot of things that you see other people doing. I follow a lot of travel bloggers. I follow a lot of travel bloggers. I follow a lot of travel online pages, and so a little bit of me felt like I wanted to have that type of experience where I had a lot of good content, as people say. A lot of my friends were like, oh, come, I can't wait to see that content, girl. Can't wait to see those outfits. First of all, I wear the same thing interchanged normally, like repeatedly. Like I'm not an outfit person. So I'm like, at one point in my mind, I was like, no, I even brought like a gown because I was like, I want to have a shoot at the Eiffel Tower. Man, that ain't me. I mean, I'm not gonna pay somebody like for what? I'm just gonna be going there and doing what in a gown. Like it's just not me. I think it's great when other people do it, and I absolutely love looking at people's pictures of them in full garb, but I'm so awkward. I was not even gonna feel comfortable wearing a gown as somebody takes pictures of me alone for 900 euros. No. So, just remember who you are. You get to an age in your life where, like I said, I like what I like. Me, Tembi, personally, I like what I like. I like eating burgers and fries wherever I am in the world. I once went to Mozambique with friends and they were eating like prawns and all this stuff and trying all this food, and I continuously ate chicken strips and chips and a toasted ham and cheese day in and day out on that island. And I was very happy with myself because that's just who I am. Content for me is not coming back with like fire outfits and posting them on my timeline so people can like them. Content for me is sharing really funny stories, like the stories I've shared about my Uber experiences and stuff like that. That's what brings me joy. It's not really, having pictures of me in the Arc de Triomphe in, this couture outfit. I don't even wear couture, guys. Fashion Nova is couture for me. So it's important to know yourself. It's important not to put pressure on yourself. Go on your trip and go and do the things that you love to do. If you're a sightseeing person, go see the sights. If you don't like seeing sights, you don't have to go. You're not gonna die if you go to New York and you don't go to the Statue of Liberty. Like you're not gonna die if you go to Paris and you don't go up the Eiffel Tower to the second floor. If you wanna do that, do that. But if you're fine, like me, I was perfectly fine with taking a picture of it every single night and every single day at a different angle. Like that gave me so much joy. If that's what you like to do, do that. If you are perfectly fine with spending evenings alone in bed, or even if you're with a partner and not going out and dancing rough to French music or to whatever music, that's also okay. Because you'll have a worse time trying to tick off other people's wish lists on there for what they would do if they're in Paris, instead of just doing what makes you happy. So I had a great time in that I learned to love spending time with myself, even if it was kind of in a weird way, because there were times I wish I was with somebody else, but actually after a while I realized, I actually enjoy this. I really enjoy the times when I was alone in my hotel room, eating and watching French TV and watching stuff on my laptop. I really genuinely did. Would I recommend Paris? I would. I definitely think it's somewhere you have to visit at least once in your life. Would I go back? I don't think I would go back, but I think I would go back if I was in a relationship. I would go back definitely with a boyfriend or something. I don't think I would go back with friends, girlfriends. No, I don't see why I would need to do that. My highlight of France was, okay, this is the last part because this video is getting very long. My highlight, my peak was definitely seeing the Eiffel Tower at night when it sparkles. Oh, I could literally look at it every single day. My low light, I don't want to say Little Africa in Paris because shit. think I just went about it the wrong way. But I think my low light would probably be how expensive things are. Yeah. That would be my low light. For me, it was very expensive. Maybe there's a cheap way to do Paris, and I'm sure somebody's gonna comment below with a whole essay. That's fine. Go ahead and enjoy yourself. But for me, the low light was definitely how expensive things are. But nonetheless, thanks guys for watching this vlog. And I can't wait to take another trip. As soon as I was done, I was like, can't wait to plan another trip this time, probably with a friend or a few friends, 2 or 3 friends, or maybe with a lover if I find one. Yes, so that I can't wait to travel again. I just need to see Terminal A in Ora Tambo. My body shakes in disbelief every time I go into that terminal. Thanks guys, thank you for watching my video. And if you've been to Paris and you want to share anything about Paris below, or you've had weird Uber stories or anything you want to share, please feel free down below. Until next time, love ya, bye.